Chapter 581. Everybody surrounded Madam President at the class reunion. The reunion was held in a reserved room. Yu Minmin was still blushing. Before she went in, she could see Feng Xiaoqing outside. Upon seeing her, Feng Xiaoqing smiled and walked towards her. You came. Come on in. Many of our classmates are here. Yu Minmin still hadn't recovered from the chaos just now. This Gu Jingze suddenly pulled a stunt like that. Seriously, did he intentionally want to embarrass her? She smiled at Feng Xiaoqing and followed him inside. Their classmates were all talking and laughing amongst themselves. When they saw Yu Minmin and Feng Xiaoqing enter together, all eyes turned to the two of them. Yu Minmin really came. Wow, Madam President is here. Who would have thought that Madam President would grace us with her presence? Or is it because Xiaoqing was charming enough to persuade Madam President to come? Everybody rushed up to them excitedly, making Yu Minmin rather uncomfortable. Feng Xiaoqing helped speak up for Yu Minmin beside her. That's enough. Madam President or no Madam President, it is our class reunion today. There will be no taboos. Seeing Feng Xiaoqing bring Yu Minmin in, the ladies felt indignant in their hearts. Seriously, everything was different now that she was Madam President. Feng Xiaoqing even personally welcomed her and protected her. Yu Minmin sat in the middle and everyone began asking her questions. Minmin, are you living in Glazed Tile Palace now? Yu Minmin said, yes. That's nice. You're with Mr. President every day. Plenty of people must be waiting on you, that person said. Another person immediately said, of course. Can there be any fewer attendants by the president's side? Yu Minmin replied, it's actually not that different normally. That girl was quite pretty. Yu Minmin knew that she was very popular in their class back then. She wasn't that good in her studies, but she was clean and pretty. When kids were clean and fair at that time, they were all adorable. Kids like Yu Minmin ran about under the sun and became tanned. Thus, she was not as adorable in comparison. She heard that the girl later had a rather good marriage. She married a wealthy businessman and was living a good life. She looked at Yu Minmin and asked, do you still remember me? We used to sit quite close to each other. I sat at the same table as Feng Xiaoqing. Yes, I do, Yu Minmin replied. Everyone looked at Yu Minmin. Naturally, some were envious and some also jealous. Someone then said, at that time, I didn't think you would become Madam President now. I remember that you have a younger brother. Oh yes, Yu Minmin thought about it just now. She would probably gain too much attention if she came here. However, she didn't expect everyone to be so impolite and directly ask her questions. That girl looked around. Yu Minmin came alone and didn't bring anyone else. She smiled and said, how come Mr. President didn't come with you? Never mind, he's such an important person. He probably wouldn't come to our class reunion. But why didn't he send someone to accompany you at least? Isn't it degrading for Madam President to go around all by herself? Yu Minmin turned to her and said, I merely married a man. It's not like I go out of my way to become Madam President. There's nothing degrading about that. I don't think people should be considered according to their value. If there's no value, then there's no degrading of a person. That woman's face went blank as she was stumped. She looked at Yu Minmin. Her face distorted a little and she said, oh my, you didn't like to talk a lot when we were younger. You're indeed different after becoming Madam President. You're more smart-mouthed now. Well, before I married Gu Jingze, I was already working. Whether I'm smart-mouthed or not has nothing to do with who I marry or what kind of person I become. Hearing Yu Minmin simply mention Gu Jingze's full name, everyone in the crowd looked at one another. They weren't quite used to hearing that. However, she had the right to call Gu Jingze by his full name. He was her husband and she could call him whatever she liked. Thus, it was their own problem if they weren't used to it. That woman still wanted to speak, but Feng Xiaoqing said from behind, that's enough. Are we all done talking about this? Let's eat. Yu Minmin looked at Feng Xiaoqing gratefully. Yu Minmin was always clear about what to love or hate. She would remember anyone who helped her. Feng Xiaoqing also smiled and quickly asked for the food to be prepared. Everyone said that this meal was paid by Feng Xiaoqing. He wanted everyone to have a good meal. People were thus amazed and said that young Master Feng was really wealthy. He was still wealthy even now. Feng Xiaoqing sat beside Yu Minmin and said, wealthy or not, the important thing is that it is such a rare occasion that we can all see each other. It is just a treat for you guys. It's not like I'm giving you money. There's nothing wealthy about that. Everyone didn't say anything else and began eating. Some people even asked for Yu Minmin's WeChat number or any form of contact with her. They took a group shot and talked about all the childish things in the past. Many people even specially said to Yu Minmin, we were young and immature back then when we bullied you. Not at all. That was not considered bullying. The humiliation she went through when she really started working was considered bullying. When they were children, some were arrogant and childish. Thinking about it made her angry. However, she could handle it. In comparison, the actions of some of those teachers were really bullying. After all, sometimes children could be ignorant but teachers should not be. However, the teachers started the bullying. Yu Minmin knew that there were many teachers who were good. However, she was unfortunate and all the teachers she crossed paths with were bad. That was why it was such a tragedy for her. After the meal, Yu Minmin didn't see the point in staying and was prepared to leave. Feng Xiaoqing asked, why? You don't want to continue hanging out? Everyone wants to go to karaoke. Yu Minmin replied, it's okay. I should leave. I'm a little tired so I'll head home first. You guys go ahead. I'll see you next time. Feng Xiaoqing could only say, all right then. Give me a heads up if you're coming to our company next time. Behind them, someone said, Minmin, you're a manager now. Do you have singers under your care? You must be sick and tired of hearing those singers sing all day. Yu Minmin smiled and left. When she left, that girl from just now said, Humph, I just knew it. There is nothing special about her. You think she would be some impressive person after marrying the president? Let me tell you guys. The more capable these people are, the shadier they are underneath the surface. Just see how she goes about on her own. What kind of standard is that? She obviously doesn't hold great importance to this Mr. President. Otherwise, how can Madam President be like this and not put on airs? Yeah, I'm also puzzled. How did Mr. President take a liking to her? If Mr. President didn't want to find a commoner as a cover, he would actually have plenty of women by his side. I'm sure it would have been like that. A modern-age Cinderella. I don't believe there is such a good thing. Chapter 582. Was it Mr. President who picked up the call? Although they said that, their hearts still felt sour when they went out and saw Yu Minmin get into a luxurious car. After all, this contrast was too huge. She was such a normal girl in class. The main thing was that her demeanor was definitely different today. Especially when she acted as if she didn't care, it was as if her life now was natural and given to her. She also didn't boast with her words or actions and this made them all the more frustrated. When Yu Minmin returned to Glazed Tile Palace, Feng Xiaoqing sent her a WeChat message. He told her not to mind what all those people said. Yu Minmin sat on the windowsill and replied to him, telling him that it was all right and she was fine. After that, she left her phone there when she saw Gu Jingming return. She quickly got up and said, I'm going to take a shower. Gu Jingming nodded. As he took off his clothes, he heard the phone ring. He narrowed his eyes. When he entered just now, he noticed that Yu Minmin was chatting with someone. Seeing the name on the phone now, he narrowed his eyes and immediately walked towards it. He picked it up and immediately heard Feng Xiaoqing's voice on the phone. Minmin, they went overboard today, but you handled them very well and they couldn't do anything. There was silence. Feng Xiaoqing continued, what's wrong? Are you really angry? Don't be. They're just jealous of you. Really? There was still no reply. Feng Xiaoqing said, Minmin, actually. Minmin is not here. Feng Xiaoqing was completely stunned. Gu Jingming continued speaking plainly, she is showering. I'll relay your message to her. Feng Xiaoqing remained silent for a long time and then replied, thank you. He quickly hung up as he looked ahead in a daze. The one on the other end of the line was that Mr. President. When Yu Minmin was done, she came out and saw Gu Jingming holding her phone. She asked, was there a phone call? Yes, someone by the name of Feng Xiaoqing. Oh, one of my classmates. Yu Minmin hastily walked over, wondering if he picked up the call for her. However, Just as she took the phone, he pulled her over in one swift motion. Yu Minmin instinctively tried to avoid him. But Gu Jingming held her forcefully in his arms. Why are you trying to avoid me? Gu Jingming kissed her passionately. The two of them moved to the bed. On this night, it was really like a punishment for her as she was ruthlessly tortured in all kinds of positions. The next day. The news of Eric's arrival in C Nation was gradually well known. It was not Eric's first time coming to C Nation, but it was the first time his visit was so high profile. Thus, this news naturally began to hype up in C Nation. Many wealthy figures wanted to get a piece of the action and see this world-renowned billionaire. Mo Hilling also let her family know about it. They would come to one of the Gu family's manors as guests and then she would come here with her own mother. At the entrance, the guards stopped Mo Hilling. Mo Hilling was not invited, but she was confident that she didn't need an invitation. Looking at the Gu family's guards, she grunted and asked, "What are you doing? Don't you know that the child in my belly carries the blood of your Gu family? Seriously, I'm even staying in Gu Jingze's house now, so obviously, he acknowledges it. You dare to stop me here? Are you asking for a death wish? Sorry, you can't enter today." Mother Mo also said speechlessly, "What is wrong with you guys? You dare to treat us this way? Where is your master? I want to see them and ask them in their faces. Hilling is Jingze's benefactor. Is this how you guys treat your benefactors?" Mo Hilling was also huffing angrily. Mother Mo quickly touched her belly and said, "It's okay, Hilling. Don't be angry. Your child is more important. Getting angry is not good for the baby. Where is that Lin Che? You have been staying with Gu Jingze for so long. Didn't you have a good talk with him yet? He doesn't even allow you to be here." "Mom, just wait and see. That Lin Che probably won't dare to show her face here today." She actually felt unjust to put the blame on her mother. She wanted to let Gu Jingze take a good look at herself. However, Gu Jingze didn't even glance at her. They were living independently in one house and he never comes out of his study room. Otherwise, he would always be with Lin Che going out or hanging out in some part of the house. The Gu residence was huge and they could always find a place to be by themselves. Mother Mo asked, "Really? She might not come today?" Mo Hilling scoffed as triumph filled her eyes. "Of course. I saw her yesterday and she was hideous. Coming out here will only scare everyone. It'll be even better if she comes. Let everyone see her so that she'll be a laughingstock for sure." Mo Hilling thought viciously. The only pitiful thing was that her face was not ruined. They only managed to ruin her hair. Mother Mo held a fan and fanned herself. She thought that if they kept standing there and these people refused to let them in, the embarrassed ones would be themselves. Just then, someone suddenly said, "Miss Mo." Mo Hilling turned around and saw Gu Lanshan. "Auntie, you're here." Mo Hilling quickly welcomed her. Gu Lanshan let mother and daughter Mo in. Seeing that Mo Hilling's belly was still not obvious, she asked, "Why aren't you resting at home?" "I've been at home too long so I wanted to come out and take a walk." "Oh right, is Jingze not here yet?" "No, he should be at the airport to personally receive Eric." "I see." Gu Lanshan looked at her and wondered why she didn't manage to make Gu Jingze give her special rights despite moving in so long ago. She couldn't even enter the manor. It looked like she indeed was not as capable as Lin Che. However, she still let her in. Mo Hilling was extremely grateful to her. Gu Lanshan only smiled and said, "Just take care of your child. Don't need to thank you. Once the child is born, we will all be one family." Gu Lanshan did not want to help her and neither did she have any special feeling towards this child. Anyway, if Gu Jingze wanted a child, he would be able to have one no matter what it took. It was just that she didn't like Mu Wanqing holding the reins of her family and that was why she wanted to go against her. She wanted to see what Mu Wanqing would do when the child was born. Once Mo Hilling went in, Gu Lanshan left. Mother Mo and Mo Hilling looked around and immediately saw many familiar faces. Mother Mo said, "There are some familiar faces here. Of course, all those visiting today have a relation with the Gu family. The manor is open to the public and some people would find a way to come in. However, most of them here must have some relation with the Gu family. Go and take a seat. There's a place for you to rest. You shouldn't be standing so long with this belly. Mother Mo quickly held Mo Hilling as they walked over. At the area with chairs, a group of girls sat and chirped about, seemingly talking about seeing Lu Baikan here. Chapter 583. Lin Che said thank you for giving me a makeover. The Lu and Gu families had been very close recently because of the marriage. This allowed both families to move up another level in wealth and power. Mother Mo said, back then, I even wanted to tell the media and set you up with Lu Baikan. You didn't want to go at all and insisted on waiting for Gu Jingze. See what happened now. Mo Hilling replied, I have Gu Jingze. Why would I want to be matchmade with Lu Baikan? The Lu family is also reputable in C Nation. They are not an ordinary family. But you didn't think about it. I'm already with Jingze. Why would I be thinking of other people? This one is not even confirmed. What if Lu Baikan didn't agree at that time? Now, it looks like it was the right decision to not go for the matchmaking. Lu Baikan and that younger sister of the Gu family hung out so much that they are together now. If I went ahead back then, wouldn't I still be the embarrassed one in the end? Mother Mo thought that it made sense to the Mo family. The Lu family was elite. Back then, the Mo family had to plead and pull strings. Chances of success were also small. Just then, someone said that Lin Che had arrived. The girl at the side quickly stood up and said, Lin Che is here. Look. How come she came here alone? Another girl asked, why didn't she come with Gu Jingze? Don't you guys know? Gu Jingze went to the airport. Eric and his family are coming here via the Gu family's private plane. Quick, come and see how Lin Che looks like. You guys have no idea how trendy her fashion has been recently. So many girls are imitating her. Why? It supposedly captivates men because so many handsome guys are in love with her. Everyone feels that the way she dresses must be very attractive to men. Quick, look, she's here. Mo Hilling sat there as she quietly thought about their words. Trendy, captivates men. Lin Che really let people praise her so highly. Wasn't she afraid that it would get too high? No, she was going to let people laugh at her completely. That ridiculous look of hers yesterday. Thinking about it, Mo Hilling still found it funny. Just then, she saw the door open. When Lin Che walked in, everyone really turned to look at her. After that, Lin Che's black outfit mixed beautifully. When she strode in, everyone froze. Is that Lin Che? Of course it's Lin Che. Her face is still the same. When did she cut her hair short? Wow, this is the first time seeing her with short hair. Mo Hilling scoffed coldly as she turned to look. Lin Che wore a simple, black sleeveless top that was broad and cropped. It made her slim body look even slimmer. She also wore a simple pair of blue skinny jeans and a simple pair of open-toed black shoes. Her hair, which was originally past her shoulders, was now extremely short and black. Her wispy short hair looked extremely neat because her face was petite, to begin with. Now, the short hair made her face look even more petite. People with big faces simply wouldn't look good in this kind of hairstyle. Only petite faces like hers would have no problems. Unexpectedly, she changed her image and also her style. She wore smoky eyeshadow that was not exaggerated. It just looked more punk. It was as if she was an interesting Hollywood star. When she walked, she was casual but her eyes were sharp. She was a girl, but she wouldn't fall behind men. In the Hollywood world filled with men, she would still be able to pave her own way. She was filled with confidence but was also graceful. She was a goddess. Once again, people saw a different version of Lin Che. Thus, they couldn't take their eyes off her, thinking that no matter how fast they tried to follow trends, they really couldn't keep up with her style changes. Her face was really too fair and tender, so the smoky eyeshadow didn't look dirty at all. Instead, it made her skin look even fairer. If it was another person dressed up this way, it would probably not look as good. However, Lin Che simply didn't have to worry because her skin was fair and soft. She had a slim figure and a petite face. Thus, this whole body was advantageous and only brought out her good parts. It did not reveal a single flaw on her. Everyone looked at her in surprise. They were all stunned and amazed. Wow, Lin Che looks so pretty in this style. She looks like a big shot. And she doesn't look childish at all. Instead, She looks like a Hollywood star. Mo Hilling froze for a long time with her mouth slightly opened. She actually forgot to close it. Lin Che already saw Mo Hilling. She didn't walk straight in. Instead, she walked bit by bit as she looked at Mo Hilling and reached her side. Up close, her makeup was not thick at all. It only felt graceful, grand, and it did not look heavy. It was really so perfect. So pretty. Lin Che looked at Mo Hilling's face and scoffed, "I see that Miss Mo is here." Mo Hilling snapped back to reality. She gritted her teeth and looked at Lin Che. "What's wrong? Can't I be here? Did you think that only you could come? Well then, you are wrong. I am the eldest daughter of the Mo family. Furthermore, I'm carrying Jingze's child now. There is no place that I can't go." Humph. Lin Che smiled coldly and said, "I didn't say anything else. Why are you so anxious? I just came to say thank you. Thanks for encouraging me to switch up my style. I was thinking of finding a chance to change too, actually." You. Lin Che never thought about changing her style, but she wanted to anger Mo Hilling on purpose. Seeing Mo Hilling's face fall, Lin Che then said, "Go and take a seat, Miss Mo. You have nothing to do and you have a child in your belly. You can't keep standing around. You don't look good either. It's really not good for the baby. An expectant mother should be more relaxed, isn't that right?" Mo Hilling was really hopping mad. However, Mother Mo quickly held her back. So many people were around them looking. If things blew up, they would be laughed at even more. Lin Che found a seat here and sat down. Normally, she wouldn't play with Mo Hilling like this. Neither did she want to sit here and be looked at like a panda on display. However, she really wanted to make this Mo Hilling angry. It was all her fault for wanting to provoke her for no reason. She even wanted to disfigure her. Mo Hilling gritted her teeth and looked at her. She then also sat down. No way was she going to leave. Why should she leave just because Lin Che was here? It would seem like she could not fight against her and was trying to run away. Who couldn't fight against whom? She was carrying Gu Jingze's child now. The one running away should be Lin Che. Sure enough, when Lin Che sat down, everybody looked over at her. Some girls smiled and looked at Lin Che. They wanted to go up and talk to her but were stopped by Mo Hilling's aloof appearance. They also didn't dare to casually barge in like that. Otherwise, they would have become pulp. Lin Che sat down and took out her phone. She texted Yu Minmin about what happened over WeChat. She sent, "I'm going to drive her to her grave. She thought that I didn't dare to come. It's all the more that I must come." Chapter 584. This is why Lin Che gets treated so well. Yu Minmin said, "But of course, it's Andy's creation. Your value is also beyond words now. Not just anybody can hire Andy. You'd need to be a big shot to even know his handwriting." Everyone began to look over fervently. Lin Che didn't notice at the beginning, but Gu Jingze was suddenly here. The people around her already started to notice Gu Jingze's silhouette. When he entered, Lin Che was still texting on WeChat. As for Mo Hilling, she immediately saw Gu Jingze. However, under her hopeful eyes, Gu Jingze instinctively walked to stand behind Lin Che. He smiled as he looked at Lin Che and then he reached out and grabbed the phone in her hands. Lin Che got scared. Why would anyone try to steal a phone here? When she looked up, Gu Jingze fiddled with the phone and looked at her as he asked, "Why were you so immersed in using your phone?" Gu Jingze raised a brow. His enchanting eyes were completely black. Lin Che stood up and complained, "Why did you snatch my phone? Seriously, give it back." "Why, you're so anxious to get it back? Are you hiding something that I can't see inside?" "Of course not." Gu Jingze looked at the phone. Lin Che quickly tried to snatch it back. She just told Yu Minmin. She said. "Oh my, this was too embarrassing." Gu Jingze started reading the content on the screen. It was her conversation with Yu Minmin. Yu Minmin said, "Your Gu Jingze treats you way too well. Where can we find such a good man on earth?" Lin Che's reply was, "Hee. Well, he is wealthy, strong and highly attractive. Of course, I'm clinging onto him and not letting go." It was simply. Seeing Gu Jingze's gaze deepen as he looked blankly back at Lin Che, her face immediately blushed. "Give it back. I was joking just now." Gu Jingze didn't try to avoid her anymore and handed the phone back to her. On account that you have considerably good taste, I'm not going to say anything. Next time, this kind of thing is better kept to ourselves. Don't go around showing off. Idiot, who was showing off? She was just joking. However, it was indeed rather true. Gu Jingze said, all right, let's go. Eric is already here, he's inside. Lin Che immediately replied, oh okay, let's go. Mo Hiling hastily blocked them. Hey, Jingze. You're here too. Gu Jingze glanced at her nonchalantly. His expression was distant and unfamiliar. It was completely different from just a few moments ago. After that, he put an arm around Lin Che's waist and walked away. You. Mo Hiling was left behind. She watched Gu Jingze leave. He was just as dazzling as when he came in. Around her, envious voices began to chime. Oh my, Gu Jingze and Lin Che are so loving. Did I see wrongly just now? Gu Jingze even smiled at Lin Che. Yes, Gu Jingze doesn't look that scary anymore. That is only to Lin Che. Don't even think that you would have a turn. Mo Hiling's face darkened further. Mother Mo turned behind and glared angrily at the group of infatuated women. She tugged Mo Hiling and said, Gu Jingze is too much for treating you this way. What is up with you? You've been staying with him for so long already. Stop it, stop it. Stop saying anything else. Wait until I give birth to this child. I'll see how he treats me and the baby. Humph. After that, Mo Hiling also got up and walked after them. Gu Jingze was already inside. Why would she stay outside and listen to these women who could never touch Gu Jingze? Lin Che followed Gu Jingze and went in to look for Eric. She said, there are so many people here. I thought it would be a private meeting. Gu Jingze replied, Eric is the kind who prefers a lively environment. Thus, even if people found a way to come to the manor, I wouldn't stop them. I see. Lin Che stood in front of Gu Jingze. Do I look okay? I keep feeling as though something is not right. I'm so not used to having short hair. Gu Jingze said, you're just not used to it. It'll grow back out in no time. Don't worry. Lin Che nodded. Okay, I think so too. My hair does grow quite fast in the first place. Yes, you're not 25 years old yet, so your metabolism is faster. Naturally, your hair will grow faster too. So he had such professional knowledge. Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze. I'm just a little nervous. It's Eric we're talking about. He's so famous. Didn't you say that you didn't know him? When Gu Jingze first told her about him, she was much calmer. Lin Che said, I didn't know who he was at that time. I only knew after I searched his name. He's the king of the stock market and he's way too famous. He's such a famous person. Oh my, I need to control my inner panic system. Gu Jingze replied, forget it. Pretend that you have no idea. Relax, it's okay. Lin Che said, it's easier said than done. Of course, you're not nervous no matter who you meet, but why has the Gu family never been on the Forbes list? I thought the Gu family was also very wealthy. Gu Jingze looked at her. Silly, not every wealthy figure will take part in the Forbes list. Many people will not publicize their wealth and they will not let people investigate how wealthy they are. This is especially so for some who do shady businesses. Although our family is very wealthy, we have always kept a low profile. We don't publicly show off and we will never let people find out exactly how rich we are. This is a battle tactic as well as a way of handling matters. I see. Lin Che understood his point and nodded. As they continued walking, she saw that they were already in the inner hall. Okay, look, Lin Che is here. Inside, a girl's voice could be heard. Then, Lin Che saw a mixed-blooded young girl running in. Ah, Lin Che, it's really Lin Che. She spoke Mandarin and immediately hugged Lin Che's waist. She was only 12 years old, but she was already very tall. As she hugged Lin Che, she lifted her head and looked at Lin Che. Her face was filled with joy as she observed her new image. Wow, Lin Che, you are so pretty in real life. You look 100 times prettier than on TV. Lin Che was stunned at first. Then, she looked up around the entire room until she saw some of the Gu family members. Liu Baikan was also there, sitting with Gu Jingyan. Across them was a blonde man in his 40s. He looked very graceful and charming. He looked at them and smiled, glowing with fatherly love. That was Eric, the same Eric in the photos she saw. Lin Che looked at the girl. Hey, hello. Hello, I'm Lu Yunxi, she spoke in Mandarin that was not so fluent. Oh, hello, you have a national name. Yes, my mom named me. Chapter 585. Her little fan was quite interesting. Yes, my mom named me. It is a very nice name. She smiled at this girl who had black hair and brown eyes. She was a young mixed-blooded girl who looked like a doll. She asked, Lin Che, did you have a makeover? Ah yes. She touched her own hair sheepishly. Do I look weird? No, it's really very nice. You're so pretty, Lu Yunxi said. Am I the first fan who has seen your new style? I never saw you like this on TV. Yes, you're the first, Lin Che replied. Oh my, that's great. I'm so lucky, she continued hugging Lin Che warmly. Eric then said, all right, Annie. Come here, don't scare others off like that. She is your idol and you must be gentle to her. He said to Gu Jingze at the side, apologies, my daughter is way too passionate. But I can see that she is very fond of her idol. Oh right, she is very pretty. Is she your wife? Gu Jingze nodded, yes. Eric spoke in English, so Lin Che couldn't quite understand. She only watched in peace. Just then, the young girl looked up and said sweetly to her father, Daddy, can I go sit over there with Lin Che? I have so much to tell her. Eric replied dotingly, fine. Go have your secret conversation. Go on. The girl tugged Lin Che's hand and pulled her in a certain direction. Let's go. Their conversation is too boring. Let's go over there. Okay, actually, I don't quite understand what they say anyway. Let's go. The girl indeed admired Lin Che a lot. She tilted her head and her eyes shone as she looked at Lin Che. Lin Che, can I call you Baby Che? Some fans called her Baby Che because they thought that she was too cute. However, Lin Che actually objected to that name secretly. She was clearly such a goddess. Fine, goddess might be a little too stretched. But she was not a baby either. Okay, Lin Che still decided to be accommodating anyway. Fans were gods. Whatever they said went. Actually, I really wanted to come here and see you but my daddy never let me come on my own. Now, I finally got the chance. Oh right, I still have your online forum, your Weibo, your fan club but I'm only entry level because I can't contribute. None of them wants to take me along. I really want to be a group leader for your fans. I also want to be the host for your online forum. I have so much time on my hands. I can garner a lot of support. No, the main thing is that you're still too young. Organizing and supporting can be very tiring and you live so far away. It won't be convenient for you. I'll let you be a group leader next time. How about that? A group leader, alright. I want to grow up quickly. When I'm older, I'll be able to attend fan meetings and be the fan club leader, right? Yes, grow up well. When you're older, you'll be able to do many things. Lin Che quickly contacted Yu Minmin to let Lu Yunxi join a more stable fan group and allow her to be the leader. Yu Minmin was online on WeChat. Upon seeing Lin Che's request, she quickly replied, are you talking about Eric's daughter? She wants to be a group leader. Yes, quickly add her. She insists on becoming the leaders of the fan club and forum. Oh my god, if people were to find out the group leader is Eric's daughter, they'll start to become her fans instead of yours. Get lost. Fine, I'm just saying that you are such a big shot now. Even Eric's daughter wants to be your fan group leader. Yu Minmin did as requested. Lin Che then continued listening as Lu Yunxi discussed Lin Che's shows and her relationship with Gu Jingze. Lu Yunxi liked Gu Jingze very much but now, her number one favorite was Lin Che. Her second favorite was Gu Jingze. On the other side, Eric saw that the two of them seemed to be chatting happily. He also felt happy. He said to Gu Jingze, she tends to be stubborn, but I can tell that she really likes this idol of hers. Because of this, I also encourage her. There are benefits in liking somebody. Because she has an idol, she can participate in many activities and meet many more people. She will have her own circle of friends and life will be much more enriching. Some parents in foreign countries were really very casual. Gu Jingze smiled as he looked over. Eric remarked, your wife is very patient. I can see that she's gentle and kind. Yes, she was very kind. As for gentle, she could be very gentle at times. At noon, everyone ate in the manor. Eric complimented the manor, saying that it was very gorgeous. Today was like a gala and it was very interesting. After Lin Che ate, her stomach felt uncomfortable. She quickly went to the washroom. Sure enough, her period, which had been late, was finally here now. Lin Che quickly asked an attendant to get some sanitary pads for her while she waited in the washroom. While she was sitting on the toilet bowl and waiting for the attendant, she heard people coming in and out outside. Someone asked, is that Mo Hiling really pregnant with Gu Jingze's child? Yes, didn't you see her showing off everywhere she went? And judging by her belly, I also think that she's pregnant. That is really lucky. Gu Jingze, on the other hand, he already has a wife and he still fools around with his ex-lover. Aren't all rich people like this? Furthermore, he is Gu Jingze. Lin Che also seems to be fine with it as she continues going around with Gu Jingze. She doesn't look unhappy at all. Well, she's already very lucky to be able to be with Gu Jingze. He's merely having a child with another woman. There's nothing to mind about. If I were in her position, I'd also agree with it. As long as Gu Jingze was willing to be with me, don't even talk about having a child. He can have as many children as he likes and I would be okay with it. Lin Che listened as the two people left laughing. As she sat there, she knew that Mo Hiling intentionally spread this around. However, the Gu family couldn't tell outsiders the truth. If they said that Mo Hiling got herself pregnant through artificial insemination, they would have to worry about people finding out that Gu Jingze could not touch women. Furthermore, they would also find out that Gu Jingze stored his sperm. Who knew what kind of ugly rumors there would be by then? Lin Che thought about it and didn't mind it. After being in the entertainment industry for so long, she was already used to all the speculations and gossips. It was only because they misunderstood Gu Jingze and that was why her heart didn't feel comfortable. The attendant came back with some sanitary pads. Once she was done, she went out and immediately saw Lu Baikan outside. Hey, are you going in? No, I can't understand their language anyway. I came out to walk, Lin Che said. Upon hearing this, Lu Baikan thought for a while and said, I also hate those boring talks. Why don't we go sit over there? What would you like to drink? I'll get it for you. Lin Che replied, okay, any drink will do. Lin Che went to find some seats first. A group of people saw her approaching and immediately gave way to her. They greeted her and left. Chapter 586. Lu Baikan stood on Lin Che's side. Lin Che felt shy and smiled at them politely. She only sat down for a brief moment when she saw Mo Hiling and her mother walking towards her. The two of them were stuck outside. Mo Hiling also wanted to go take a look. However, Gu Lanshan was the one who brought her in and she was now nowhere to be seen. Mother Mo said, give Gu Jingze a call. Let him invite you in. How come other people can go in and out but you can't? Mo Hiling said, enough. Why should I call him? If I can't go in, then so be it. Eric is just an old man and there's nothing nice to look at. Who wants to look at him? I just thought that you should go in and meet the Gu family relatives. Build some rapport with them. When your child is born, they will be your child's aunts and uncles. Mo Hiling grunted and spotted Lin Che sitting down. Lin Che, was it you who told Gu Jingze to ignore me? Is that why Gu Jingze is treating me this way? Mo Hiling asked her directly. Lin Che frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? Mo Hiling scoffed and said, don't try to act all innocent here. I know your little tactics too well. It must be you. You've been brainwashing Gu Jingze into ignoring me. You want him to distance himself from me on purpose. Huh, whether he wants to ignore you has nothing to do with me. If you don't feel comfortable staying in the Gu residence, you can leave. Why are you coming to me? Mo Hiling gritted her teeth. Don't think that you've won today. You may not win in the future. We have plenty of time. We shall wait and see. Fine, I've never said that I wanted to compare anything with you. However, I'll give you one word of advice. Don't spread those tales anymore. I don't care what you say in front of me, but to tell others that you're carrying Gu Jingze's child, have you ever thought about how it might affect him? Do you feel happy that people misunderstand him? If you really love Gu Jingze, you should think in his shoes instead of being so selfish. Who is the selfish one here? What did I spread? Everything I said was the truth. I am indeed carrying his child. You're calling me selfish? I think you're the selfish one. You clearly know that I'm carrying his child but you refuse to leave him. Don't you wish to have Gu Jingze all to yourself? I am Gu Jingze's wife. Are you mistaken? Didn't you snatch Gu Jingze away from me? Humph. If it wasn't for you, would Jingze have broken up with me? I'm just taking back what's mine now. Thinking about all these, Mo Hilling still couldn't bear it. Lin Che looked at her. In your eyes, is Gu Jingze just an object? He is a person. Lin Che, who do you think you are? You dare to tell me what Gu Jingze is? Gu Jingze is my childhood sweetheart. You were the intruder who barged in. Without Gu Jingze, what are you worth? You are merely an illegitimate daughter. You have nothing and you're talking about being selfish here. Isn't it because you can't bear to leave the life you have now and that is why you're selfishly clinging on to Gu Jingze? Yes. Without Gu Jingze, you wouldn't even become a celebrity, not to mention see Mr. Eric here. You wouldn't even be able to touch the doors of this manor. Mo Hilling, please show some respect. Lin Che stood up as she gazed intensely at Mo Hilling. Mo Hilling scoffed coldly, why? Do you want to hit me? Come at me. Do it. I do want to see if you dare to hit me. If you hit me, do you believe that you'll immediately lose everything? Humph, you're just an actress. Are you even worthy of hitting me, the mistress of the Mo family? Mo Hilling was not afraid of getting hit. If Lin Che dared to hit her, Mo Hilling would announce it to the world. Because Lin Che wanted to get rid of her and chase her out of the Gu residence, she would resort to violence. She wanted to see how everyone would think of Lin Che then. She knew that Lin Che wouldn't dare to hit her. That was why she was so triumphant. Lin Che stood there and did not move. Although she was fuming deep down, she refused to make the first move. Lin Che scoffed, fine fine. If you insist on claiming that you're carrying Gu Jingze's child, go ahead and have it. But you best be sure of it. Otherwise, when the child is really not his, I don't even need to hit you. Mo Hilling was silenced by her words. Somehow, she felt a little worried. Her expression changed slightly. Then, she raised a hand and wanted to hit Lin Che. Shameless woman, you dare to curse me. Lin Che grabbed hold of her hand. Mo Hilling, I have yet to settle scores with you for ruining my hair and you dare to hit me. So what if I want to hit you? What are you worth? I'll hit you if I want to. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Okay, go ahead. Who are you? You sound so confident. Just then, a clear voice suddenly rang from behind. Lin Che looked up to see that Lu Baikan was here with 2 drinks. Mo Hilling also turned to look. When she saw Lu Baikan, Mother Mo immediately pulled Mo Hilling back in fright. Lu Baikan was a famous rich heir in B City. Everyone knew that he was a tyrannical playboy. He was a troublemaker who often caused a lot of commotion. He was more mature now and already toned down a lot. However, his notoriety was still there. Because he was the son of the Lu family, it was all the more unbearable. He was rich and loved causing trouble. Nobody could do anything to him. They could only watch him powerlessly as he went about his ways. Mo Hilling quickly greeted, Mr. Lu. To the Mo family, the Lu family was also a force to be reckoned with. The Lu family would never hold the Mo family in regard. Needless to say, Lu Baikan from the Lu family would never hold anyone in regard. Lu Baikan asked, what? Are you bullying Lin Che? Mo Hilling's face changed. No, not at all. How can I? But I saw it crystal clear just now. You raised your hand and wanted to hit her, didn't you? I was just joking, Mo Hilling replied sheepishly. Young Master Lu, this is just some personal matter between me and Lin Che. It has nothing to do with anyone else actually. Lu Baikan scoffed, nothing to do with anyone else. Anything to do with Lin Che has to do with me. Mo Hilling looked up in surprise. Lu Baikan had always been high and mighty. He never held anyone in regard and rarely took a liking to anyone. He was an extremely proud person and often ignored others. Usually, he wouldn't even give face to a normal person. Why did he say that Lin Che? Lu Baikan said immediately, Lin Che is my friend. Whoever bullies Lin Che today is as good as hitting me in the face. Are you saying that it has nothing to do with me? Lu Baikan looked at Lin Che. Did she want to hit you just now? Lin Che also didn't expect Lu Baikan to be so harsh to Mo Hiling. Naturally, she did not know that Lu Baikan had always been like this. He was a tyrannical king who did not give face to anybody. Even when Mo Hiling was with Gu Jingze in the past, Lu Baikan never gave her face. Why should he give face to her now that they were not together? Chapter 587. I'm the one who hit her, what about it? Mo Hiling naturally did not dare to provoke Lu Baikan. She knew that there was a disparity between the Mo and Lu families. Mo Hiling could only say, where did you see me hit her? I don't care if you hit her or not. Apologize to her, Lu Baikan demanded. What? Mo Hiling said unhappily, on what basis? It's up to you whether you want to apologize or not. Lu Baikan narrowed his eyes threateningly. The smile on his face looked especially evil. Mo Hiling looked at the way Lin Che sat there. She had no idea, since when was Lin Che so close to Lu Baikan? At that time, she was only occupied with getting pregnant fast. She did not have time to care about all these nosy stuff. Naturally, she also did not know how Lin Che had changed. She saw the news of Lin Che rising up in the entertainment circle. She also knew about her participation in the WW banquet through her circle. She also knew that there were some changes to Lin Che, but she didn't know what exactly. She was not particularly clear. Mo Hiling gritted her teeth. I will not apologize. Just then, Lu Baikan suddenly took Lin Che's hand. Grabbing her hand, he said to Lin Che, how is this woman about to hit you just now? Don't you want to give it back to her? Lin Che froze and looked at Lu Baikan. His face was filled with evil intention, and as if influenced by this she nodded. Thus, Lu Baikan grabbed Lin Che's hand and slapped Mo Hiling across her face. Initially, Mo Hiling did not know what Lu Baikan meant. She only realized after this slap that she had just been hit. She held her cheek. You. Lu Baikan stood there and looked at her. What's there to yell about? I don't like hitting women. Otherwise, I'd be hitting you myself. Mo Hiling looked at the two of them and her lips quivered with anger. However, Lu Baikan continued, that's right. Now, Lin Che returned you a slap, but if you want to blame someone, blame it on me. If you want to take revenge, come find me. I took her hand and used it to hit you. So what do you want to do now? Lu Baikan stood there and looked at her. Do you want to hit me back? Or what? Lu Baikan stood tall as his eyes were filled with coldness. He actually protected Lin Che so openly and even took all the responsibility. Why you dare to hit me? Mo Hiling pointed her finger at Lu Baikan. Unexpectedly, Lu Baikan simply remained nonchalant. He looked at Mo Hiling and raised a brow. His expression seemed to say, yes, I hit you. So what about it? What can you do to me? Yes, Mo Hiling could not do anything to him. She could not retaliate. The Mo family could not do anything to the Lu family in C Nation. They couldn't do anything to the tyrant, young Master Lu. Thus, Mo Hiling was even angrier. Lu Baikan scoffed and said to Lin Che, it looks like Miss Mo has no more objections. Lin Che, if she still dares to bully you in the future, you must remember to tell me. I'll say it right here. Whoever bullies you is as good as bullying me, Lu Baikan. I just want to see who dares to go against me. I have plenty of time and energy. If anyone wishes to play with me, I'll play with them to the end. Mo Hiling was stunned. She looked at Lin Che angrily and then at the arrogant Lu Baikan. She was so angry that she did not care about anything else and wanted to rush up to them. She was the daughter of the Mo family after all. She normally didn't socialize a lot with others outside and had never been treated this way. Although the Mo family could not compare to the Lu family, they had never gone against each other before. This is her first time being at odds with Lu Baikan, and it was because of Lin Che. Thus, she naturally could not take it. However, Mother Mo held her down. Mother Mo held her down firmly, afraid that she would do something rash. Lu Baikan looked at her firmly for a long time and then said to Lin Che, let's go. Lin Che didn't want to make matters any worse than it was now. Since what was done could not be undone already, she followed Lu Baikan and left the area. When they were completely gone, Mother Mo then released Mo Hiling. Mom, what are you doing? I want to fight it out with him. Mo Hilling said angrily. Mother Mo was so frightened just now that her face turned pale. On what basis? Don't talk nonsense. That is Liu Baikan. Who dares to provoke him? So what if he's Liu Baikan? I'm not afraid of him. Don't be silly. Do you want our whole family to go against theirs? We can't win against them at all. So what if you're not afraid? If you really lunged at him, who is going to save you? I wouldn't be able to. If you offend Liu Baikan, will our family still be able to live peacefully? Think logically. Don't go against him. So I can only tolerate this. Mo Hilling held her cheek agonizingly. He actually hit me. Mother Mo's heart also ached for her own daughter. Even she couldn't bear to hit her. But so what if her heart ached? Status and power were what they were. If they couldn't win, then they couldn't win. The difference in power was too great. The Liu family was like a strong pillar that did not budge an inch. Nobody could make them move at all. There's nothing we can do. We can't win against them. It is all because that Liu Baikan is standing on Lin Che's side. We can't do anything about it. Mo Hilling held her cheek. She scoffed angrily, stomped her foot, and left. Lin Che also didn't expect Liu Baikan to stand on her side like this. She caught up to Liu Baikan and said, "Thank you for that." Liu Baikan didn't say anything else. He was fond of Lin Che. People like him were used to being pampered. If he did not want to give face to someone, he would not. But if they really hit it off, they would immediately become his friend. He would be loyal, sincere, and there would be no problems with status or money. He said, "She went really overboard. She was the scoundrel here and she still has the cheek to be arrogant. If we don't teach people like her a lesson, she would think that she is always right. She would take things for granted. If people see her in the future, wouldn't they all want to follow in her footsteps?" Lin Che said, "I'm just angry that she's spreading bad rumors about Gu Jingze for no reason. She is being too selfish. The truth is totally different from what she says and she knows it too. But she still says it. She didn't say it directly either. She only told some truths. Everything else came from speculations after outsiders hear about it. Isn't the world just like this? Everyone loves making up stories and the more they make them up, the more they think that it's real. Actually, only a handful will know the truth," Liu Baikan said. "You're only not used to it. This also actually shows that the Gu family has too many secrets. They are way too high up that everyone can't really see the real Gu family. Thus, people can only rely on their own speculations. It's all Gu Jingze's fault for keeping such a low profile. Everything has its pros and cons." Lin Che sighed. All right. Chapter 588. Lin Che's new style is really stunning. But Gu Jingze is already used to it. Whatever outsiders say don't mean anything and there's no need for explanations. The truth will come to light one day. Once they know the truth, they'll know how foolish they were with their past speculations. Yes, I know. It's the same in our entertainment circle. Fans and netizens are outsiders and they can only rely on rumors to know about some gossip in the circle. Thus, they totally don't know the truth about life inside the circle. They can only make guesses. Yes. Lin Che said, "No matter what, I still have to thank you for standing up for me. It felt so good just now." Lin Che really did feel good. She was so frustrated when she heard people talk about the bad things Mo Hilling spread about Gu Jingze. Now, it was as if this feeling completely dissipated. Just make Gu Jingze treat me to a meal next time. Okay. At night, the group headed to the Gu household for dinner. Initially, they wanted to go to a more special place, but Eric wanted to see how a traditional home in C Nation looked like. He heard that the Gu household respected traditions and expressed this in many parts of the old house. Furthermore, it was rare that a house was big enough to accommodate everyone. Thus, he naturally chose the Gu household. Naturally, Eric's daughter pestered Lin Che non-stop as they left the manor and headed out. Outsiders were not allowed to get close. Everyone could only watch as Eric and the Gu family left together. Gu Jingze was at the front while Lin Che was behind him with Lu Yunxi holding her hand and skipping. They looked very close. Everyone thought enviously, this Lin Che really had it all. She could get close to anybody because she was with Gu Jingze. She could even get along with the daughter of the stock market king so well. However, Eric obviously couldn't be bothered by other people. He only interacted with the Gu family. Everybody could only look on and then go their separate ways. Only Mo Hilling remained standing outside feeling frustrated. At this point, she was nauseous and giddy. She held her mouth. She wanted to throw up but couldn't. At the side, Gu Lanshan's voice was filled with surprise. "Oh my, you're having morning sickness." Mo Hilling hastily looked up. She wanted to say something but was reminded of the disgraceful moment just now. She held her mouth disappointedly and said sorrowfully, "Auntie, I've really let you down. I let Lu Baikan and Lin Che join forces to push me over just now. I'm really..." How could Gu Lanshan not have heard about it? It was precisely why she came over. She replied, "It's okay, I know. But how many months have you been pregnant? Why are you already feeling nauseous?" "Yes, I've been beginning to feel uncomfortable lately," Mo Hilling said. Gu Lanshan said, "Old folks say that if it's a boy, the morning sickness is worse and begins earlier. If it's a girl, some won't even experience morning sickness." Mo Hilling heard this and her eyes lit up. "Really, Auntie, is it possible that my child is a boy?" If it was a boy, he would become the Gu family's successor. A girl was fine too, but boys were, of course, more welcomed in big families. Gu Lanshan said, "All right, just take good care of your baby. The child is most important. I've heard about what happened just now. We are also very surprised that Lu Baikan actually helped Lin Che. However, Jingze, Jingyan, and Lin Che have gone out with Lu Baikan a few times. They probably got to know one another during those times. Lu Baikan is a very proud person and even he could be subdued by Lin Che. It is clear that she is not simple." Gu Lanshan thought that Mo Hilling was clearly useless too. She was with Gu Jingze for so long and even she couldn't do it. Lin Che looked stupid, but she was much smarter. It had not been long and she already influenced so many people to stand on her side. Gu Lanshan continued, "Don't talk about yourself. Even we can't do anything about that Lu Baikan. He is reckless and has always been this way. Even the heavens don't care, much less you. Keep a distance from him in the future. You also don't have to be upset that he bullied you. There is nothing embarrassing about it. Have you ever seen him give face to anyone close to him?" Mo Hilling only felt jealous deep down. Why would a person like that help Lin Che instead of her? Gu Lanshan said, "I'll help you from now on. Hold your horses and think for the long run. Don't cause unnecessary trouble." Mo Hilling listened carefully to Gu Lanshan's words. Gradually, her face began to fill with even more hope. Lin Che spent the day with Gu Jingze hosting Eric. The next day, she had yet to make a public appearance. However, Andy posted the news of his latest work, which was Lin Che. Lin Che's latest image appeared in a series of posed photos. It already amazed people. The sudden change to short hair made people feel rather unprepared. However, it was a different style and it also gave her the airs of a big shot. It was very stunning. Naturally, what made people more surprised was that she was styled by the elite stylist Andy. He would post about every celebrity he worked with. All the Hollywood stars designed by him were now amazing big shots. What was shocking was that Lin Che was his first client within this country. Thus, after he published this news, many people began to talk about it. They wrote to ask why Andy would help style Lin Che. Was it because he took a liking to Lin Che's appearance and aura? Or was it because Lin Che invited him with money? What was so special about Lin Che such that Andy would make her his first C-Nation celebrity client? Everybody was guessing. Eric's daughter followed Lin Che the next day and insisted on going to work with her. They all stayed at the Gu household for the night. Gu Jingze walked Lin Che out. Lu Yunxi tagged along too. She looked at Gu Jingze. "Why are you the one married to baby Che and not Gu Jingyu?" Because Gu Jingze was tall, he squatted down so that he could look at the young child in the eye. Gu Jingze asked, "Why? Do you think it's bad that I'm with your idol?" Being stared at like that, Lu Yunxi blushed and ran to Lin Che's side. She tugged Lin Che's waist and cautiously peeped at Gu Jingze. "No, I think it's great that you're with baby Che." Gu Jingze then smiled as he stood up and said, "Okay, be careful." Lin Che speechlessly looked at Gu Jingze. Gu Jingze stood there and smirked at her. Lu Yunxi turned to glance at him and then quickly tugged Lin Che's hand. She whispered, "Baby Che, I think you should act in a drama with your husband." Lin Che looked at her strangely. "Why?" Lu Yunxi said, "I think that he is much better looking than the past male stars you worked with." Looking at Lu Yunxi's infatuated demeanor, Lin Che shook her head helplessly. What was Gu Jingze doing just now? He actually enticed a child. Lin Che said, "He's dumb when it comes to acting. He's just a pretty face. But I think he can just stand there and let people look at him. He doesn't need acting skills." Fine, that made sense. If any drama had Gu Jingze as the lead, would there still be a need for publicity? Lin Che said, "All right, let's go to work. I have a lot of things to do today. Don't complain that it's boring." "I won't. I want to see how Baby Che is normally like at work." Chapter 589. This young lady was noisy. Both of them soon reached the office. Upon entering, everyone saw Lin Che with a young girl walking in. The young girl was chattering and asking questions non-stop. "Baby Che, this place isn't very big." "Yes, every office is not big. We only just started, so we definitely don't have the money to rent a bigger place. Furthermore, we don't have enough manpower. It would be a waste of money to rent a big place." "You're right, my daddy also says that we shouldn't waste money." Lin Che smiled at her and went to meet Yu Minmin together. Yu Minmin heard that Lin Che brought a girl with her. She quickly recalled something and immediately ran out. Sure enough, she saw a mixed-blooded young girl. She looked at Lin Che in surprise. Lin Che smiled helplessly. Yu Minmin then understood. This child was the stock market king's daughter. Damn, why was she here? Yu Minmin hastily said, "Oh my, you're so pretty. What's your name?" Lu Yunxi immediately replied, "I'm Lu Yunxi." "That's a very nice name." Yu Minmin said, "Let's go in and take a seat later." She looked up and quickly called for assistance. "What are you waiting for? Quickly find a drink for Miss Lu. Bring whatever treats and snacks we have. Clean up the rehearsal room so that Miss Lu can go there." Everyone was still stunned. They had no idea why they had to wait upon this little girl. After Lin Che and the girl left, they then asked, "Why is the kid here?" "Yeah, Sister Yu, what is going on? Why do we need to wait upon her too?" Yu Minmin went up and swatted that person's head. "Just do as you're told and talk less. To be able to look after her is your good fortune. I'm giving you a good task, and if you don't want to do it, I'll let others take over. Don't complain then." They still had no idea who that little princess was. The staff members rubbed their head and quickly went to do as told. Lin Che let the staff accompany Lu Yunxi first. She said to Yu Minmin, "Look at me. We already saw the report today. Everybody thinks it's not bad. But I still like long and flowy hair. Well, the hair will grow quickly. Don't worry about this first. We're conducting interviews today and it's going to start soon. Let's go take a look." "Yes, okay." Lin Che and Yu Minmin walked outside. Yu Minmin said, "Since you're here, we'll be interviewing for the positions of assistant and public relations manager. Recruitment for other positions like makeup artist assistant as well as some apprentices will be done tomorrow." "Oh, but I don't really know all of this." "You also need a personal assistant. See if you can hit off with any of them. We can give them a shot." Okay. There was a queue for the interview outside. What Lin Che did not expect was the number of people waiting. Lin Che said, "There are so many people." Yu Minmin nodded, "Yes. For a celebrity studio, there will be people wanting to come and try because they want to enter the industry. From being an assistant or some other position, you can introduce them to the directors and creators that you work with. You can even recommend them for acting." "Oh, I see. These people are looking for a chance to enter the industry. There are also some who purely want to see a celebrity. Look at that group of young ladies chatting. Do they look like they want to be interviewed at all? They just merely want to come and see you." Tisk. Lin Che and Yu Minmin talked as they walked along. Once Lin Che and Yu Minmin were out, everybody turned their eyes to them vigilantly. Many outsiders had good impressions of Lin Che and Yu Minmin's studio. Needless to say, one was a huge celebrity while the other was Madam President. With them joining forces to open a studio, it felt as if their futures will definitely be bright. Looking at the two of them now, everyone could feel a dark aura coming down on them. Sister Yu, Sister Che, you guys are here. The interview documents are here. Please take a look. Everyone stood there and watched with anticipation in their eyes. Lin Che really couldn't get used to it. It was as if everyone's fates rested in her hands, and it was all the more she hesitated. Yu Minmin said, just see which you think are not bad. Once you're done, let the crew take care of it and choose. Lin Che nodded and looked at the documents. Since she had no other choice, she chose from her professional experience. It was only now she understood why some maids paid so much attention to education. She did not know any of these people. How could she choose? She could only choose from qualifications. She picked a few and said, I think these are not bad. You guys can look through the rest. Okay, Sister Che, we'll be conducting the interviews next. Aren't you going to join us? No, I just came here to take a look. You guys have a better and more professional judgment. I definitely don't know as much as you. Sister Che, you're too humble. Lin Che greeted them and then smiled politely at the interviewees before leaving with Yu Minmin. People later complained pitifully, why did she only come here for such a brief moment? Exactly, she didn't choose properly. The staff grunted and noted down these complaints. These people were definitely not going to qualify. The staff said, Sister Che is normally busy. Did you really think that Sister Che and Sister Yu would idle around interviewing you? They don't have that kind of time. Alright, wait here for your name to be called. Everybody pouted and could not say anything else. Lin Che and Yu Minmin talked about other aspects of the business. Lu Yunxi watched some entertainment program on TV inside as she played with the staff member beside her. Initially, the staff didn't really care about her. They had no idea where this kid came from. It was only because Sister Che brought her in, and that was why they gave the kid food and drinks. They later realized that she was no ordinary kid. Lu Yunxi asked, Hey, why are you wearing such torn and tattered shoes? It's already torn at the side. The staff wanted to say that it was like that because it was the trend. However, he said jokingly, I'm poor. I can't even afford proper meals, how can I afford shoes? Lu Yunxi looked at him pitifully and said, I'm sorry. I wasn't mocking you. How about this, as an apology, I'll buy you a new pair of shoes. What? Lu Yunxi then took off the watch on her small wrist, take it and buy yourself some shoes. This should be worth a pair of shoes. The staff looked down at the watch in astonishment. What in hell was this? And this was only the beginning. Lu Yunxi enjoyed her time. She said to the staff, you are really nice. I'll give you a gift as a souvenir. Chapter 590. Everyone respects you because you are capable. Then, she took out some trinkets from her small bag and gave them to the staff. When the staff received the gifts, they immediately recognized that these were either limited edition items from reputable brands or expensive customized items. Now, no one dared to underestimate this young lady again. But they were even more curious about who exactly this young lady was. When Lin Che and Yu Minmin came back, the young lady jumped down from her chair and ran to Lin Che. Baby Che, you're back. Lin Che looked at her. How do you find it? Are you having fun here? I'm having fun. The staff here are all so interesting. Ha, is that so? Of course, it's just that they're very poor. Baby Che, next time, increase their salary. Lin Che said, all right then. I'll try my best to give everyone a good life. How were they poor? Even though they were not incredibly wealthy, since her studio had become independent this year, her staff got welfare benefits every month. They were not that poor. Of course, to Eric's family and to Lu Yunxi, the staff were definitely considered part of the poor masses. Lu Yunxi quickly led Lu Yunxi out first. While walking, she said to her, we're going to this film site later. Don't run off recklessly when we get there. That's great. Once she brought Lu Yunxi out, the staff immediately asked Yu Minmin, Sister Yu, who was that? Yu Minmin smiled meaningfully as she looked at them. She had deliberately kept it a secret from them earlier. Only now did they know how amazing this young lady was. Do you know Eric? Who is that? Eric, the king of stocks. Don't tell me you don't know. He's always on the top of the Forbes list. Ah, I've heard of him. I've heard of him. That's his young daughter. Her mother is Eric's second wife and she's from C Nation. So she's of mixed race. PFT, no way. Oh my god, I feel like I just missed out on a few million. Sister you cheated us. If you told us earlier, we would have knelt before her and licked her shoes. Yu Minmin smiled and said, it's precisely because I didn't want you to scare the child. Alright, go and do your work. Stop making a fuss. Lin Che brought Lu Yunxi to the film site first. The filming location for Witch's Diary had finally moved from the deep mountains to the city. When the young lady arrived at the filming location, she looked around curiously. As everyone looked at the young lady whom Lin Che had brought along, they merely thought that she was a child of Lin Che's friend or something and was here for a visit. Furthermore, she was so beautiful and was a young girl of mixed race. Thus, no one said anything about it. The director said to Lin Che, you're almost done filming your parts. You'll be able to wrap up filming in a few days. After that, we'll have to do some additional scenes. We may need to trouble you for that. No problem, just call me up if you need me. I'm going on a break after this, so I probably won't have much going on. Alright. The director looked at Lin Che appreciatively. He felt that a cooperative actress like her was really hard to come by. Thus, he very politely asked about the young lady. People usually brought others here for a visit so that they could recommend their juniors. Some also brought their relatives' children in order to introduce them and get them into the industry. All of this was very common. The director only brought it up because he really liked Lin Che. If it was someone else, he definitely would not have done the same. That young lady has a pretty good image. Why, do you have any thoughts about it? Seeing that the director had misunderstood, Lin Che quickly said, no. She's not here to be an actress. She's a child of one of the guests at my house. I took her out today for a spin. Let Lu Yunxi be an actress. Lin Che had to be daring enough for that to happen. The director said, oh, really? I thought she was one of those young girls who wanted to act. Now, there are many children with dreams of becoming celebrities. I've never really thought about it, but thank you for being so considerate of me. I may need to trouble you in the future if anything comes up. I'm really grateful. The director said, it's nothing. It's been a pleasure working with you. You must let me know if you need my help with anything. Lin Che smiled. After settling matters on this end, she then went to call for Lu Yunxi. Upon seeing Lin Che, the other actors and actresses hastily greeted her. Sister Che, you're here. Sister Che, do you want to sit over there? We'll get some coffee, drinks, and fruits for you. Everyone was rushing to clear some space for her. Lin Che smiled and said, there's no need. Go ahead and do what you need to do. I just came over to take a look, take tomorrow's script, and discuss my scenes tomorrow with the director. Go ahead and enjoy yourselves. I'm leaving soon. Oh, in that case, we won't hold you up anymore. Sister Che, go ahead. After greeting everyone one last time, Lin Che left with Lu Yunxi in tow. As they walked, people continued to greet Lin Che. Lu Yunxi could not help but sigh to Lin Che in admiration. Wow, baby Che, everyone seems to respect you a lot. Lin Che smiled and asked, how can you tell? Of course I can tell. Look at how polite they were when they were talking to you earlier. Lu Yunxi continued, you really looked impressive just now. I admire you so much. Alright then, putting her age aside, even ordinary fans all thought this way. If their own idols could do very well, they too would feel satisfied. Lin Che said, our industry places great importance on seniority. They respect me because I've been in the industry for a long time. Even so, it must be because you're amazing and they're not as popular as you are. Lu Yunxi continued, I understand how it works. I read a lot of entertainment news and all of them write that impressive celebrities are the ones like you who are respected in the production crew. Baby Che, you don't have to be modest. They respect you because you're more famous than them and because you're better than them. Fine then, she had to admit that Lu Yunxi's words really pleased her immensely. She probably felt a sense of accomplishment because it was a small achievement she had earned after working hard for so long. Alright then, you're right, if you're more popular, it means that you're on a higher level. The two of them left the filming location and headed back home. She dropped Lu Yunxi off at her father's. Eric had already decided to stay in the old GU residence during his time in C Nation. Thus, Lin Che sent Lu Yunxi to the GU residence before returning to her own place. Just after she collapsed onto the couch in the living room at home, she sensed someone quietly walk over. Lin Che looked up only to see that the person who was in front of her was actually Mo Hilling. She was holding a tray in her hands. She looked at Lin Che and smiled slightly. It made Lin Che feel completely uncomfortable. What do you want? Lin Che, I'm here to apologize to you about what happened today. I was in the wrong. You may not know, but pregnant women are prone to emotional outbursts. That's why I couldn't control my emotions. I'm here to apologize to you now. I shouldn't have thrown a tantrum at you at the time.